Welcome, one and all, to Enlightened Conversations, where this season we're going just that little bit deeper and not skimming on the judgy surface of life. I will also be sharing conversations with my guides, and you can be guaranteed that all the topics that come through are authentic, life-changing and enlightened, because we want you to live a more joyful, peaceful and loving vibration. Let's go. Hi everyone, it's Michelle Lightworker here and welcome to Enlightened Conversations. I'm very excited today because this is the first episode in a series of similar themes where I want to explore through the lens of 6D consciousness, our embodiment of our physical body, our identity and our sexuality and our gender and the choices that we make around taking care of our body too. So I'm pretty super excited about this one because this can take us on a journey to explore different themes that are really profound, and a good starting point that I really feel would be great to just embrace the understanding and concept of is how and why we choose the body that we're born into. So this is such an empowering topic because when we begin to understand that our body is not just a random genetic lottery, but as an intentional soul level choice, a whole new layer of peace and self-acceptance and even joy can open up for us, which of course we'd love. Who doesn't want to feel at home in their own body and at peace with it, at peace with the choices, at peace with the shape, the way it functions, all the things it's taught us over the course of our life. We'll be looking at this topic through the lens of 6D soul contracts, where our higher self works with guides, soul family, and universal intelligence to decide on the exact circumstances of our incarnation into this physical body. And we'll also touch on the science because even in the cellular, hormonal and neurological processes of our bodies, we can see the fingerprints of the soul's design. So it's pretty exciting. And as always, we'll weave in the 12 principles, those beautiful universal tools of honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, forgiveness, unity, discipline, faith, responsibility, wholeness, love, joy, and peace that guide us in making sense of this embodied journey. So let's begin. What is 6D consciousness and soul contracts? When we talk about 6D consciousness, we're talking about a dimension of awareness where the soul understands itself as both individual and interconnected. So it's not about me necessarily. It's about understanding how me affects the we and how we affects the me, etc. in that universal flow. In 3D, we tend to see life as linear, birth, life, death. In 4D, we begin to awaken spiritually, sensing more meaning, being able to tap into time in a different way through past life understanding, imprints in our etheric body, and other deeper ways of healing. In 5D, we experience unconditional love and unity. We touch on that and our world expands into a really divine connectedness. And in 6D, we move into the realm of design, blueprint, and sacred agreements. We understand the concept of choice before we incarnate into this world. It's in 6D that we draft our soul contracts, those agreements we make with ourselves, with Source, and with other souls about what we will experience in a given lifetime. Think of it like writing the script of a play that you're going to star in. And you choose the set, the costume, the role, and the supporting cast. But here's the key. The costume is your body. And this choice is never random. It's chosen with intention, with purpose, and with love. Some of us might not think so, but there's always a method to our madness when we're making these choices. And that's where our faith can really kick in, that we need to engage in understanding our past selves and what they were thinking about helping our future selves. So this is where the first of our principle, faith, comes in, because often we're looking at our body, we might struggle, we might ask, why this one? Why these limitations? Why these curves or scars or struggles? And faith reminds us there is meaning in the choice, even if we don't fully see it yet. The pre-incarnation process, it involves choosing lots of different things. Before incarnation, in 16D awareness, the soul works with both guides and soul family to determine what gender identity or experience will serve the lessons of this lifetime, what race, what cultural background will provide the right contrast and context, what sexual orientation or fluidity will help us explore love and connection and life from a certain angle, what physical attributes, body type, or health challenges might shape the growth our soul is seeking. This may sound wild, but think about it. Many of the struggles most of us have to accept about ourselves are exactly the things that push us into deeper love, compassion, resilience, or awakening. We're often at a crossroads in our life with a lot of these challenges, and they're pivotal in helping to shape us and our choices and understand ourselves more deeply. From a biological perspective, our genes, our hormones, and epigenetic switches create the stage for this experience. Science tells us things like height, hair, texture, hormone levels, and even certain predispositions to illness are encoded. But from the soul's perspective, these aren't accidents, they're invitations. And here's another principle that jumps in at this point: responsibility. Responsibility is not blame. It's not saying, oh, you chose this, so it's your fault. Responsibility is about ownership. It's about saying, this is the body my soul chose. So how can I honor it, work with it, and grow through it? What is the next thing that happens after that ownership is incredible. It's freedom and joy and responsibility in taking care of the body as well. And peace. Throw that in. So let's talk about what the soul's purpose is behind choosing a body. So every choice, every curve of the hip, every tone of the skin, every chemical balance of hormones, they all serve the soul's curriculum, a learning journey. So for some, the lesson is about self-acceptance. For others, it's about breaking generational cycles, like carrying the DNA of ancestors who survived trauma and then healing those imprints. For others, still, it's about experiencing polarity, embodying what we rejected in a past life so that wholeness can be restored. For example, a soul who lived as a powerful man in one way may choose to incarnate as a woman in a patriarchal society, not as a punishment, but just as a way of understanding balance, compassion, and empathy from the other side of the spectrum. And some principles can jump on in here, like open-mindedness and willingness, because open-mindedness allows us to entertain the possibility that our struggles are not curses, but callings. And willingness lets us soften into that truth rather than resist it. Often we might hear ourselves saying, damn you body, why do I have this, body? And it helps us to really go, actually, I might have a deeper reason for why I've chosen this. Let me have a little relax into that for a bit and see what comes through, what it's saying, what I'm feeling it's meant to teach me. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about how previous lifetimes might shape our current embodiment. So our soul is a vast traveller. and our bodies often carry the echoes of past journeys. For instance, a soul who misused power in one life may choose a body that feels vulnerable in the next. A soul who experienced oppression might choose a body that challenges cultural norms, pushing society forward. A soul who was silenced may choose a body with a strong voice, or with one with a stutter, learning patience and presence. And also science reflects this too, like epigenetics shows us that trauma doesn't just end with one person. It imprints on DNA and can be passed down. So when you find yourself carrying anxieties, sensitivities, or patterns that don't make sense, you may be actually holding on to both your soul's history and your ancestral history. And when that happens, we might have this realization about the principle of forgiveness. So that it shows us that it's a very powerful principle in this, because forgiveness doesn't erase pain, but it releases the grip of resentment so we can move forward. When we forgive our body for not being what we thought it should be, we make peace for love to flow in. We create a space there. We're not resisting, we're relaxing. And also it plays an important role in our ancestral history. We may not have ever met our ancestors, but if they were feeling anything that like what we were feeling before we realized we could heal that anxiety or that oppression or that lack of patience, what have you, whatever it is that we're carrying, we can start to feel a fold into forgiveness for them and understanding and compassion for what they didn't resolve. It might have been too hard for them. They may not have had the tools at the time to resolve it. And we can start to embrace and capitalize on using this time effectively to heal rather than stay in resentment and stay in a pattern that's just not serving us anymore. Let's talk a little bit about masculine and feminine energies, but beyond gender. So one of the most beautiful reminders of 6D awareness is that masculine and feminine are not limited to male and female bodies. These are energetic polarities, such as creation and receptivity, and action and stillness, structure and flow, yin and yang. So every soul contains both, and every body expresses both in different ways at different times. Sometimes we feel more aligned with the feminine, nurturing, intuitive, soft side of ourselves, and other times the masculine, direct, protective, bold. And often the dance between them is where the magic happens. Biologically, hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, they ebb and they flow, and they influence how these energies within us are expressed. We know that for some of us, different times of the month as a woman, we might feel more in our action and more in our relaxation and our yin, our cave time, especially if it's that time of the month. And sometimes we're all affected by the moon cycles as well. Some of us get really manic on the moon, really action oriented, and others want to sit in our cave and do nothing. And the moon can affect us differently as well. And the weather can too. And the astrology. Lots of things can influence it all. But anyway, spiritually, our soul uses these hormones and the dynamics of these hormones as a kind of paintbrush, creating unique shades of expression in our personality and our sexuality. And here we see another principle jump on in, the principle of unity. So unity isn't about erasing difference. It's about honoring both sides of the spectrum as part of the greater whole, honoring how they serve each other and how they weave together. So unity is an important one. understand we're all connected and we all have those masculine and feminine energies working in different amounts all the time. So on hormones though, let's pause for a moment and just have a little chat about that. So from puberty to menopause, from pregnancy to andropause for men, our hormones constantly shift the inner landscape, and these change shape of our emotions, our desires, and the way we view the world. And from the soul's perspective, these hormonal swings are not flaws. They're opportunities to experience contrast. They help bring the walls down and they help empower us in different ways as well. Either way, contrasts teaches us growth. So without fatigue, we wouldn't value vitality. Without heartbreak, we wouldn't understand the depth of love. Without the shifting tides of hormones, we might not fully experience the range of human emotion. This is why the principles of discipline and honesty can swoop on in here, because discipline is about caring for our body through the fluctuations, sleep, nourishment, movement, and honesty is about acknowledging what we feel without shame. Yes, my hormones are influencing me today, and that's okay. It's part of the journey my soul signed up for. It's part of my journey, my learning for today. And having compassion for ourselves in that process is a beautiful thing. It's such a gift we can give to our souls. I'm a big believer that that discipline side of things helps us as well when we've got a bit of a routine. And it's not like every other day we're taking care of ourselves. We're always on a path of taking care of ourselves. So when our day comes where we feel that fatigue, we can go, it's okay. Just have a rest. Have extra soup, extra honey, extra nap, extra time chilling and stopping and just asking for help, asking for that support when you need it. So let's talk about a little bit about how we can do all of this that we're talking about. How do we ground acceptance and peace of this 6D awareness, of this choice around our body in this lifetime? When we step back and realize my soul chose this body for a reason. That simple statement, I might not know what it is. I don't know the answer to it, but my soul chose this body for a reason. Well, acceptance naturally does flow when we are open to that concept. And acceptance is not resignation. It's the fertile soil where healing, growth, and joy take root. And here we find the principles of wholeness, love, joy, and peace really become anchors here. Wholeness reminds us we're not broken pieces. We're a complete soul having a multifaceted human experience, and that's okay. Not only that, it's more than okay. That's purposeful. Continual growth is what we're all on the journey of. And the principle of love says, embrace the body not as the enemy, but as an ally. If it was your best friend, how would you treat it? And how would you respect it when it's talking to you? If you love it, you'll find out that it will serve you in your life so much better, rather than fighting it all the time. And the principle of joy, well, look, joy bubbles up when we can laugh at the quirks of our embodiment, our hiccups, the stretch marks, the awkwardness, and just have a bit of a laugh at imperfection of our embodiment choices. And we're all going to sag eventually. I mean, even if we didn't, we can have nip-tuck jokes, who cares? But we're all going to eventually get to that point of acceptance over our body, or not, because we could fight it till our last breath. But the invitation for joy is there if we can realize it's our choice to step into that joy and have a laugh at it and have a giggle. And peace, that final frontier that we all pray and hope for all the time, it arrives when we stop resisting who we are and begin living fully in the body we choose, not waiting until, but saying, you know, I want to be at peace today. Well, if I was at peace today with my body and treated with love and respect, and I can be at peace with it one day at a time and string those days together, then that's a lot of peaceful days if I can do that every day. So as we close today, can't wait for the next topics that we dive into around our body choices. But as we close today, I'd like you to reflect on these things. What aspects of your physical body or identity do you struggle to accept? And how might this have been intentionally chosen by your soul to serve a purpose? And what purpose would that be? Another thing I'd like to reflect on is, do you feel more aligned with masculine or feminine energy right now? And has that shifted at different stages of your life? Interesting observation. And lastly, maybe have a think about where you can apply one of the 12 principles. Maybe it's forgiveness, or maybe it's discipline, maybe love, just accepting more of who you are, to bring that peace into your embodiment. And just take these questions into your journal or meditation time, even a gentle conversation with someone you trust. And I'd just like to thank you all for joining me in this first deep dive into the soul's decision to embody, because remember, you're not in the wrong body. You're in the exact body that your soul chose for this chapter of your eternal story. And I'd like to really let you have a feeling of freedom. Give yourself that permission to be in the immersion of that, yes, I chose this body, and the discovery of why, and allow it to emerge for you. And in our next episode, I'm going to continue unfolding the mystery of 6D embodiment by looking at a topic that's very close to my heart, and it will make a lot of sense when we get to it. But it is about how we can have traumas in a past life, and how they're bleeding through into this life because they were unresolved, affects our sexuality and our relationship with ourselves and food, and dynamics in our partnerships. So it's going to be a big one. So until then, may you walk in honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, forgiveness, unity, discipline, faith, responsibility, wholeness, love, joy, and peace. With love, everybody. See you next time. Bye for now.